This week's episode is brought to you by Capital Financial Advisory Group for all your retirement needs.
Broadcasting from coast to coast, it's the Financial Safari with your host, Coach Pete D'Arruda. You'll hear from some of the nation's top financial professionals. So stick around and find out how to make it through the jungle of the financial world, right here on the Financial Safari.
Hello and welcome to Financial Safari. We talk retirement here. We talk about the right strategies for retirement with Coach Pete, of course, the team at Capital Financial. That includes Gregg Berrian, who is here now in the studio. Greg, I love our conversations on retirement because, you know, you get us feeling good about it when you get the strategies together.
Yeah, retirement can be a blast or it can be a nightmare.
Doesn't have to be a nightmare.
Doesn't have to be a nightmare. No, absolutely not.
You're not a marriage counselor, are you? I don't think so.
Sometimes I feel like I am.
Well, actually,
oh my gosh. I once had to ask some people that, look, I can't help you. You guys got to go home, figure your stuff out, and give me a call. And they looked at me like, this guy's nuts. And guess what? They came back.
They did. That's good.
And they said, Greg, that's just the way we are. We're from New Jersey. Okay. We yell at each other. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
And they're happy doing that.
I love these people. They're great. They're with us still.
Well, you work with a lot of couples. You work with a lot of, and single people, of course, too, but a lot of couples. So we're going to look at the spousal approach to retirement. Now, communication is big here. I know that a lot of people go, we don't like to talk about money because it could lead to an argument, but you really do need to talk about money as a couple.
Yeah, you got to talk about money. One thing that the coach offers, and we give this to everybody who comes in for an appointment, is the Little Green Book of Life.
Oh yeah,
and it's a book that Coach wrote but didn't write.
Right. Well, and explain why.
Because what it is it allows you to be able to put everything in what we refer to as the Little Green Book of Life. You know, where is everything located? Where are passwords? Where's our will? What's in the will? Where's the assets? Things like that. How to do a treasure map of where everything is. Yeah. And you know, the thing is it's sometimes it's like right now I'm facing that with my father-in-law, in which he has a little bit of assets all over the place. And, you know, we had this conversation and he's getting up there in age. I said that we need to consolidate a lot of these assets, putting them in one location so you can go and you can look at it and you know exactly where everything is. Because there comes a point in time when diversification is nice, but if you have multiple bank accounts open and things like that, you just want to make sure somebody knows where everything is.
Absolutely. And that is very helpful to have. You know, couples, usually there's one a little more interested in finances, maybe a little stronger in that.
That happens a lot.
But they should both, they both have skin in the game. How do you make sure that they both understand and have ownership in that?
Yeah, you know, that's a great point. Is the way I look is I always include everybody. If I'm in a meeting with only one person, I make sure it's like, hold on a second, you know, I'd like to meet both spouses. If anything, at the very worst, we'll have them on the telephone. Yeah. Okay. To make sure that they're in line with everything that's going on, because you don't want to make any kind of big financial decisions on your own. This is your spouse. This is your spouse for life. Mm-hmm. And so you just got to make sure that you're both on the same page on anything that you do. Now, otherwise, it could be taken really in a difficult manner.
Oh, it really could. There's always one who likes risk a little more.
Always.
What's the compromise?
It's so funny. I very often I'll go to people that I'm talking to, say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you have all your money in the bank in a nice savings account, you know, you're earning your 3, 4, 5% on CDs, okay, or buried in the backyard like Cousin Eddie, okay, right. Or you have all your money, every penny you have is in the stock market. 1 bank, 10 stock market. Where do you find yourself?
And what do they normally say?
It's interesting. It's either a 3 to 4 or an 8.
Really?
And often one of them will be in the 8 and the other one will be 3 to 4. Sometimes I get most people in the 3 to 4 range. You know, because they realize it's like you've lived. You know the old saying, Dave, fool me once, shame on you. Right. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Exactly.
And so if you're going into retirement and you lose 30% of your retirement assets, I got news for you. it's your fault.
Wow. Now, does spouse A think they're a 3, but spouse B thinks A is at an 8 sometimes?
Oh, they know.
Oh, they know.
They know. They talk.
How do you?
So what I got to find that common ground there.
do.
So, eventually, spouse 8, sometimes spouse 8 will not come to spouse 3 side,
Right.
And so, but that's up. You want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and it's up to me to make sure everybody understands every aspect, every component of the retirement picture, and what could happen in the future.
Yeah, bringing reality into this. The spouse maybe who is a little more savvy financially may end up with dementia or pass away.
And that is a difficult thing. Is I hear this all the time of folks that came in and they say, "Oh my gosh, I was the executor of my parents' estate. What a nightmare! What a horrible nightmare!" I did one little thing also. In addition to having the little green book of life, I have a Google Doc, and I emailed it to my oldest son and my wife.
Okay.
And that Google Doc is updated constantly. I have a retirement analyzer report. By the way, Dave, every person who comes into my office, I'm going to do a custom retirement plan for you, of which I list all your assets. I put everything in there, so we know exactly what's where and how it goes.
Yeah.
And what's nice about it, it's updated dynamically. So let's say we put it together in 2024, and then all of a sudden you retire in 2026. So, okay, come on in, let's go. Let's take a look at everything. And we adjust everything up and down, or let's say somebody passes away, we can make these adjustments and then just hit the enter button and everything updates dynamically.
Okay, that's so important to do. And not only like with what you're saying and passing on the information, making sure they know passwords and everything, but throughout the process, and maybe it's one person who is more responsible for it, but keeping good records for efficiency.
Oh, yeah.
We all learned that after doing our taxes every year.
Yeah. That's one thing I love about my American Express. It's just like, it lists everything. Yeah. I used to have to go through every single little receipt and put, you know what I mean? Now it's just like it updates everything. Gosh, sometimes you got to love technology.
Yeah, it helps sometimes, definitely.
But take advantage of technology. Let it be your friend. Don't let it work against you.
Okay. Hey, Greg, it's not always fun to get a memo from the boss.
No.
But I think in this case, it's good. You got a memo from the boss.
Okay.
That would be Coach Pete. Coach Pete.
I know that guy.
Actually, this just came from his trusted assistant, and you do know that guy very well. And he's congratulating you, Greg.
Oh, yay me.
You've done a great job, and you have, with radio and TV and our shows. And he's actually proud of you and all the viewer and listener compliments that you have received. So as a simple...
Tell Coach the check's in the mail. Thank you.
Absolutely. Actually, he's got something that could be in the mail.
Okay.
Available for the asking. And that is, and he says, as a symbol of appreciation, I'd like to make available to you a bag of the new Coffee with Coach Kona Blend coffee that has just arrived. Delicious, smells so good.
Coach likes his coffee.
He does. Yeah. He likes coffee and candy bars.
Oh, yeah.
And we always have the candy of the month at Capital Financial, but in this case, it's coffee. So for the next 10 viewers who decide to come in for a visit with the team at Capital Financial, you can claim that bag at no cost. Ask for that bag when you call in to schedule your comprehensive review. It's a custom approach that they take from this fiduciary team, and it's going to be all about you. Call the number on your screen. Be sure to ask for the coffee and stay with us for more Financial Safari.
Memories with Grandpa.
My first job.
My fourth job.
Crazy road trips.
Our first date. Meeting our son.
Exploring our world.
Our world. Family and friends.
Our special song.
Secure your retirement by meeting with a financial advisor. We've got some things that you can do now to help make sure that you will have a smooth transition into retirement. And like it or not, we talk about it every week, it seems, Parker. We're talking about a budget, your lifestyle expense report. However you want to phrase it, we got to have it.
And
It's a tough conversation piece, and I'm not saying you need to do the crazy like budgeting spreadsheets, worksheets, stuff that can take hours out of your life. It's mainly just knowing what goes in and out. So if you do online banking, we said this on another show before, Steve, is just go to the debits column. Don't categorize, don't factor, don't say this happened once, and just see what you're truly spending. What's the true standard of living? And then if you want to back into the budget and see what the fixed expenses and variable expenses are, you can do it that way. But when you're coming to retirement planning, I know a lot of people have a foundational piece, but the only thing that can truly implode a plan once it's been set is honestly probably the spending, which goes back to you, of course, is if you say you can live off $5,000 a month and then that's auto adjusted for inflation, of course, but then you're 2 years later, you're going into retirement and that number is now $9,000 a month. That's not inflation.
No, that's not inflation. That's
not inflation. That is spending. That is spending 100%. So knowing the baseline is always important, but you want to be able to know the discretionary too. Because I would say, the perfect situation is the discretionary is more than the baseline, but you're able to maintain that standard of living in retirement because you're going to want to travel, go out to eat, do all the fun stuff and everything as well.
All right.
Looking at the retirement confidence survey this year, Americans have had the largest 1 year drop in confidence of having enough money to live through retirement since 2008.
No kidding. Boy, that's a bad sign.
It's insane. 52% of people saying that debt has had a significant impact on their ability to save for retirement, and over a third of Americans are living off credit cards in order to make ends meet. And that's, people blame credit cards, people blame advertising, but it's always going to be personal. It's always going to be what you're looking at. And we'll talk about this later. There's always stuff that happens and you can't really get around it, but you got to have that budgeting mentality. This is just how I was raised, in that, like, you spend only what you can. You save 10% for yourself, 10% for emergencies, and then 10% for charity, church, or giving, and live off 70. That's just where it was. And I know that is more of the what they always call the boomer mentality, but that's actually just good budgeting and good savings. Now, I know Dave Ramsey talks about it to the 10%, but the ideal goal is always to save more. So when you get a pay raise, you get an increase, the perfect situation would be putting that towards saving and still living off the baseline 70. Sure. That helps you buy a house, pay off debt quicker. That helps you buy big budget sheet items you want. That helps in case of emergencies like roofing, air conditioning, the stuff you can't help. And then that also helps retirement planning. Like you just said, auto deposits and auto savings are great, but a lot of people don't do it. And the biggest impact you can have is like going to a new company. They have a retirement plan. They're matching in that plan, and you're not even putting in that match. That's 100% loss on return on investment. Yeah. So you're losing that. So you're technically hurting yourself by just not doing that. And if you set it up immediately from day one, you're not going to have to back into it later. Interest rates have gone up in the housing market now, but they didn't for 30 years. Yeah. And we had people 8 years ago, they're like, well, I put every dollar towards paying off a house. And now we're getting to a retirement plan in their 50s. They have nothing saved. And I was like, I get that, but that's where a lot of people misunderstand a lot of the debt management conversation is, what was your interest rate on that house? 3%? Yeah. So you got a 3% return on your money over 30 years. A lot of people don't understand compounding, and they could have easily made, let's say low end 6 to 8%, even though we know the market did better over the last decade. But let's say they would have doubled the amount of money they have saved and still been able to pay off the house. Wow. And that's what people don't forget. It's all about compounding, but people think for now, not for later. AARP said family caregivers who leave the workforce to care for a parent lose on average over $300,000 in wages and benefits over their lifetime. Gosh. And these estimates range from $284,000 for men to $325,000 for women. And this evidence suggests that a caregiver of aging parents in midlife may substantially increase women's risk of living in poverty in old age. Oh my gosh. It's natural to want to help your loved ones, but it is a balancing act because you don't want to always jeopardize your savings, your retirement for it. But they said 2 in 5 Americans have had to provide financial support to a family member just in the past year. And also on the other side of that, you always just got to make sure that you're able to take care of you, your family, your goals and objectives, but investing in you is also taking care of you.
go to yourmoneydesk.com. We have a treasure trove of resources on the site where you can explore concepts like this and just get to know your own retirement a little bit better as you head into it.
One other site is retirementhealthcenter.com.
Yes,
we'll put them on the screen here, retirementhealthcenter.com. Videos, we try to keep them 4 minutes or less.
We do.
Because the attention spans these days are about 4 minutes or less. And so, but they explain about anything you could ever thought of. We've done them on like everything from crypto to safe money to risk money to retirement income.
Both of these sites now have multiple calculators on them, so be sure to head over to yourmoneydesk.com.
Retirementhealthcenter.com. We talk to people every single week, and the problem seems to be confusion.
Yeah.
People are confused. I mean, there's three main things people want, though. When I whittle it down, I say, what's really important to you? One is safety.
Okay, yeah.
Now, safety in our life, like who doesn't want to be safe?
Yeah, right.
Now, how many seatbelts can you put on to be extra safe or too safe, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Safety, though, in life, in the financial world, means just making sure you're not taking too much risk with money you cannot afford to lose. Now, you may be able to afford to lose some money. Some people tell me, I can afford to lose a lot. And then they lose it. They stay in, like they put it all in one stock or something. They lose it, and then they realize they couldn't afford to lose it. So, so we don't want all our eggs in one basket. And diversification, that term comes to mind. It just means don't put everything in one place.
Yep.
Well, I've seen it over the years. I mean, way back in the day, it was 20 years ago now, when Nortel was a company. More than 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember
now.
that, yeah.
I had people come in. Nortel was going up like crazy, and they had all their retirement money in Nortel stock because they were able to do that back in the day. And I do remember, you may have heard this on the show before, but a fellow came in, and he had millions of dollars worth of Nortel stock, but nothing else. I said, what you really need to do is at least take half of this. You got a big gain. Lock some of this gain in.
Sure.
Right.
And now you'll never have to worry again, even if the rest of the money goes to zero. So let's say if we take half the money in Nortel stock, liquidate it $100 a share, that would be over $2 million in this particular instance. Let's put that into lifetime income strategies so that you can have income checks that will increase over your life, and you get financial fill-up every year, and then leave the other half, if you want to, in that Nortel stock, even though I thought that was way overbalanced to begin with, 50% at his age, which was in the 60s. But he left it alone. We met with him again after Nortel started to tank. Saw him when it was $10 a share. I said, it's still not too late, but I mean, you've basically lost $90 a share by not at least liquidating some.
Man.
The last time I heard, it was under $1 a share, and it's gone. So, I mean, I don't know if he ever liquidated, but
different asset classes. That's what you need.
Safety,
Yep,
Gary.
yep, exactly
Safety
right.
is very important when we're talking about our money if we're over 50 in that financial red zone, which some people loosely say within 10 years of retirement or in retirement. I say once you hit 50, you need to start paying attention because 50 years of your life is gone, and hopefully you're gonna live another 50, and hopefully during the first 50 you put enough money away to have an income plan or three to be able to carry you all the way through your life, no matter how long you live.
Right.
That's why we look at growth. So we need safety, we need our money to grow, growth. But then the most important part, the three big important ingredients of a successful retirement plan is income.
That's the big one.
Who cares what the lump sum is if you can't get income for life?
That's right.
Now, anyone can get income for 5 or 10 years, but when the money runs out, what happens next? So if you have your plan set up in a manner that it will never run out, guaranteed, by the way, in contract, never to run out, and always give you at least equal to the amount, monthly or yearly amount you got today, you can get all the way through your life.
Yeah.
And then when your spouse is still succeeding and still here and you're not, your spouse continues to get that income check. So you're not going to leave anybody out to dry, in other words.
Do you hear that? That's me enjoying my retirement. Traveling around the world to play golf, where I want, when I want, with whomever I want. Even got some customized clubs. Because years ago, I rolled over my IRA with the help of a local trusted advisor. Contact us to get started today. This is a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review to help educate and enlighten.
Welcome back to Financial Safari. I'm consumer advocate Dave Perkins, along with Gregg Berrian, Coach Pete's trusted advisor, and of course the great team at Capital Financial, eager and to meet you and to talk to you about your financial life and getting that retirement roadmap put together with you, at least giving you a look at what it could be with a comprehensive review. Gregg Berrian, you share with us what Gregg calls it the strategy du jour. It's a hypothetical, but it's very relatable. And it's something that we, and all of us can relate to, a scenario, especially with our wants. Who wouldn't want to have guaranteed income for life in retirement?
Not only that, who wouldn't want to make sure you take care of your beloved after you leave?
Of course, yes, absolutely.
That's to me, I am always cognizant of making sure that my wife is taken care of every single move I make.
Mm-hmm.
Is that if something were to happen to me, if I were to die in a car crash on the way to Wilmington, is everything taken care of? Will she have enough?
Well, plus that gives you peace of mind too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've got a couple here, 64 and 65.
Mm-hmm.
They said, I want something like a pension, like a retirement paycheck.
Right.
I want it guaranteed. How do you do this?
Okay. Well, first of all, when it comes to money coming from a retirement plan, 401k, IRA, TSP, what happens is that money is specifically my money or your money, okay? And the two shall not meet, okay? Granted, in marriage, we share everything, but when it comes to qualified money, it is yours and mine is mine. However, we can put this money into a strategy where it's ours.
Okay.
Where when we turn on the income, that it's ours together. So if I were to die, my wife would be able to continue getting that money, or your spouse would continue getting that money until they died as well, no matter how long they live. Okay.
Right, so it doesn't stop when you die.
It doesn't stop when I die.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what's nice about this? Now, of course, we have to look at the worst possible case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have to show that for you. We're going to work with $1 million. Okay. One nice thing, 64, 65, is if you remember right, we discussed the fact that probably, we're looking at not taking out more than 5% of what you have.
Okay.
At the age of 64, and so we're going to base it on the youngest life.
Okay.
All right. This couple would start getting 5.55% of that $1 million. Okay. Of what we refer to as the income retirement account value.
Roughly in the 50s, right?
Right. So they're going to start off, and we're going to go on the scenario that there's an epic financial collapse for the next 30 years.
Wow. You did go worst case.
We're talking end times, bread and lead scenario, zombie apocalypse, whatever it may be. Okay. They're going to get $55,000 a year for the rest of their life.
Okay.
If they live to 100 years old, they'll keep getting that money. And here's the thing, Dave, is when they're 78 years old, they're going to run out of money.
They will run out.
They'll be gone.
Gone.
Now,
why should we not worry?
Okay. Because of the design of this strategy. Even though that money's gone, they're going to keep getting the $55,000.
That's not stopping.
No. Okay. That's not stopping. But let's say they both died at the age of like 70 years old. Okay. Then there's still $684,000 in the account. So what's nice about that is if you both tragically passed away a little too early in life, anything left in there would still go to your beneficiaries.
Okay.
All right, it'll still go to your beneficiaries.
More legacy.
But yeah, exactly. And if we're in the middle of a financial collapse, to be able to get $684,000, that is pretty significant. Now, we're going to look at this a little different way also. Now we looked at the worst possible case scenario.
Okay.
Let's look at a scenario in which we anticipate it actually performing, the market performing, okay? Now, what I love about this is it's inflation-based.
Nice.
It's geared, and whenever the market goes up, whenever those indices go up, you're going to earn more money. So granted, you'll start out with $55,000, okay? And let's say things got good, and the next year it went up to $56,000. And the next year it's at, 2 years later, you're getting $68,000. A couple years later, you're getting $83,000.
Wow, you're really factoring inflation.
That's 8.5% of the million,
Yeah.
8.3% of the million. And it'll keep going up, okay? Now, Dave, get this. It's going to peak out when you are 76 years old at $146,633 a year. That's 14% on what you put in original.
That is a significant raise you've been getting.
Guess what? Now you ran out of money.
Okay.
You ran out of money. You will still continue getting the $146,000. Okay? So let's say you then die at the age of 88. You start out with $1 million. Okay. You ran out of money years ago. No worries. Okay? And you died at the age of 88 years old. You'd have taken $3,050,000 out of there.
Wow.
$3,050,000.
Like you said, you ran out of money.
You are that company's worst nightmare at that point in time.
Yeah, you are.
You're their worst nightmare. I know of a lady, okay, who has very long life, and she's in this strategy. We're planning on her living a very long life. And I said, this is perfect for you. You're their worst nightmare. Because these companies, they're built with actuaries, okay? Yeah. The actuaries decide what we're going to do and who's going to get what and when. And they're designing this that you are going to pass away somewhere between the ages 78 and 80. Okay, that's the lifespan of the average American today. Yeah. So, I mean, they don't just like kind of randomly come up with these numbers. These actuary notes are just, they're stunning. I mean, it's like a different language. But the fact of the matter is if you live beyond that period of time, you are in the black. You're doing really, really well on that.
Yeah, that's great. And but you've got that peace of mind, what you want.
Oh, goodness sake. No matter what happens, you keep getting that money from an A+ rated carrier. I mean, you can't beat that, Dave.
No, that's really great. And that's what people want. They want to enjoy their retirement. They want as few worries as possible.
Yeah. I mean, even if you refer to this as a pension, okay, how many times would you see a pension that triples?
Exactly.
Over the course of your lifetime.
We're almost out of time.
Yeah.
But in some ways, could this be more lucrative than a pension?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, first of all, here's the thing: the difference between this and a pension. Okay, number one, assuming everything works the way it's been working regularly. Okay, let's say that you're up there and you're getting more and more and more money. That's nice. Your pension will always be the same. So if you're getting $4,000 a month in your pension when you're 55, you're getting $4,000 a month when you're 85.
You're right, exactly.
That $4,000 a month is not even close worth what it was 30 years ago. Yeah. Number one. Number two, if you both passed away and you set these pensions up like this, the pension in which your spouse would get the money, and then you pass away, you both pass away, it ends. Here you have beneficiary getting anything left over.
You see what I mean about Gregg can get you excited? And he can, because actually he can talk in more specific detail with you. When you come in, when you call in and claim that comprehensive, customized review for yourself, Gregg, Coach Pete, of course, and the team at Capital Financial, call the number on your screen. Thanks so much, as always, for being with us and a part of Financial Safari.